Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching 90 Day Fiancé. Let's get to it.
Is she really into this and really into being over here with you and marrying you and wanting to have children with you? Or could it be that she just wants to come over here, go do her own thing?
So I'm really glad that they're having this conversation. I think it's a good one to have, and the mom's being open-ended seemingly. But there also seems to be a bit of that notion that we often see from family members where they're like, do you think she really loves you, or is she just in it for the green card? The mom didn't say that directly, but it seemed like it was in that direction. I don't know. Let's see what he says.
Does it pressure you?
I felt okay about it, talking about it, but the whole thing's pressure.
Sure.
That still gives us pretty much 2 months to work,
Right. Where are you at with maybe giving her the ring back or not?
Working on it.
So he almost always says something in this category. Totally vague. I'm working on it. Now, he doesn't have to tell his mom everything that's in his mind. But I would guess that if I were to really drill down on it, and hopefully the mom will drill down on this, what do you mean by working on it? What does that mean exactly? I'm guessing that he either doesn't think much beyond that he might actually avoid really thinking further down the road. A lot of people do this because if we go down that road, there might be bad things that we'll discover. And so we're just like, I'll just stay in this I'm working on it mode. Or there's another possibility that he has all these concerns that he's working on, but he isn't actually working on them. He has these complaints about Natalie that he's trying to subtly shape and change, but he's waiting to see if those things will change in her. And that's what he means by working on it. And the reason why I think he should change that way of thinking, if that is the case, which I don't know, is that there needs to be more direct communication between Natalie and Mike. They need to be saying, look, when you do this, it makes me feel this way. This is how I feel. How do you feel? That kind of exchange. They rarely do that, and when they do, it usually becomes a fight. And so I think that they have retreated to this point of just putting up all these walls and hoping that they get along. But they're probably going to trigger each other, and something bad is going to happen, and they're going to retreat to more walls, and it'll just get worse. So I don't know. Let's watch.
I just don't feel like I need to rush and give it back to her right now,
All right. Well, I'm concerned about all of this and where it's going to go, and I don't want to see you get hurt. You guys have already hurt each other a little bit. I think that the whole ring thing was a pretty big deal.
I will say I really love the mom's approach. She's saying a lot of the things that I might have said if I were Mike's parent or friend or something. So I think kudos to the mom.
Here, 1 week ago, she asks about wedding, and all of a sudden Mike is so nice. He starts to plan the wedding. But when she left, we stopped planning the wedding. But, wedding dress?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just more to talk about later.
Wow. Interesting. So, right. So Natalie is saying before mom arrived, he was in this mode where he's like, I don't know, just avoiding the whole topic, seemingly. Mom comes and mom starts to suggest, hey, maybe we should move this thing forward. I can't remember exactly what the mom said, but it kind of had that vibe to it. And Mike says, okay, yeah, let's set a date. And he does it. And then mom leaves, and now he's back to that mode of avoidance again. It's unfortunate. I really wish Mike could know what he wants. I don't know if he knows what he wants. I have a feeling he does. He seems to give off that vibe to me of someone that kind of knows what he wants. But I really wish he would talk about it. I'm guessing what's going on in his mind right now, just a total guess, because he never talks about it, or he rarely talks about it, especially directly to Natalie, that he could say something like, well, okay, you're talking about a wedding, and I've given it some thought. And I know I've been saying, let's set a date when my mom was here, but I keep coming back to this problem of you and I have a lot of conflict, and I'm still really hurt that you threw the wedding ring back at me. And I guess I'm still just having a hard time trusting you. And I want to give you a chance to earn my trust back. And I don't know if it's me, maybe I'm too sensitive, I don't know. Something along those lines. But what we get from him is like just like avoidance, like, I don't know, I guess we'll have to work on it. I don't know, we'll have to talk about it. I don't know, we'll work on that later, that kind of thing.
1 week ago, she asks about wedding, and all of a sudden, Mike is so nice. He starts to plan the wedding. But when she left, we stopped planning the wedding. Wedding dress?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just more to talk about later. There's a lot to go along with that.
Now, why would he be this way? Let's make some assumptions, because we don't know. But let's make an assumption that he has 5 toes out the door, where 1 foot out the door, where he is like, I don't know if this is going to work. We have too many differences. I don't feel very good in this relationship. But on the other hand, we have a real connection, and we've had a real connection in the past, and maybe we can get back there. And I really would love it if we could work this out, because there's so many great things I see in her, but we have a lot of conflict. Let's say that he's going back and forth on that. So why would he present like this, where he's like, I don't know, this really defeatist face, and I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Maybe this is a passive way of trying to signal disapproval and hope that she will say, honey, I'm so sorry. People do this sort of thing very frequently, where they're hurt and they want to say, I'm hurt, but they're worried if they say they're hurt, they'll get hurt again because they won't be cared for. So now you're double hurt. You're hurt by the wedding ring being thrown in your face, and then you say, hey, you hurt me with the wedding ring. And then the person says, I don't care. Well, now you're double hurt. You're hurt because of the wedding ring, and you're hurt because they rejected the fact that you said you were hurt. And so to mitigate the overall hurt, people will protect themselves and put up walls. But they're praying to God that, well, he won't pray to God, of course, but they're hoping to have the other person notice that they're upset. They're giving off vibes that they're upset, and they're hoping that this very passive way of communicating that I'm upset and hurt will cause the other person to say, oh, I hurt the person, I need to apologize, I'm going to reach out. Mike, I'm so sorry again for the wedding ring. I think that's a strong hypothesis. I don't know, but let's continue watching.
Yeah, she's ready to get married, but I think we need to get to know each other better.
Okay, so that's interesting. I hope he would say that to her, and so they could work on that. So he's saying we need to get to know each other a little better. So it's still not very precise. I'm guessing if we were to really corner him, he would say something like, well, I'm not sure if I like her anymore. And I'm trying to see if she can listen to me. I'm trying to see if she can be nice to me, because I've seen a lot of concerning behaviors from her that I just don't like, that I don't think are very compatible. I don't think we're very compatible for each other. So I'm guessing that's what he's thinking, but that was a little bit more specific, and that's interesting to hear. I wish he would talk with her about it so that they could actually figure things out as a team rather than quietly doing things behind walls that they're putting up.
Our feelings, our interests, basic stuff before you get married. And if we're ever going to work on our issues, we're going to need some quality time together. I like grapefruit over here.
Okay, quality time. Sounds like he is intentionally trying to have some quality time together with her. Let's see if they can actually open up and have a fluid conversation about emotions.
I'm in a good mood. I put just lipstick, that's all, nothing much. And a little bit dark shadow, a little bit, not much.
I know, you put on a bunch of makeup right now.
So you accuse me that it's bad or what?
No, I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
But what is the problem? I just feel
saying,
good.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I was just saying, you also, just...
Okay, that was a little interesting. I think she's right to say, what? Are you saying it's bad? Are you disapproving of the way I put makeup on or something? And then he's like, I don't know. So a little bit of some tension there. I think probably what he was trying to say, if I was to just take a guess, it's, we're about to go on a hike because that seems like that's what they're about to do. And he's worried that she isn't ready for the ruggedness of it. And instead of saying that, he's commenting on her makeup. That's just a guess. Again, walls and filters and editing before actually communicating.
Greasy and slimy.
I want to look good for Mike. And I feel really hurt, you know? I cannot stand criticism, especially when it comes from people I love.
Okay, she says, I cannot stand criticism. Now, I think most people have a hard time with criticism, particularly from people that we love. But she's saying she can't stand it. All right, so what's that about? Does she have traumas around criticism or abandonment or rejection? Those are questions that I would have.
I'm sorry. I just can't.
Any thoughts? Hello?
Okay, so this is a pretty common scenario in a relationship. He hurt her feelings, probably unintentionally. I'm guessing because he was concerned about how they're headed towards a rugged activity and he's worried that she's going to get upset. And so he's in this very edited, filtered way trying to communicate that to her by criticizing her makeup. She gets hurt, and because of her traumas around abandonment or criticism, it really, really hurts. But it wouldn't be weird for it to even moderately hurt based on the way he was saying it. And especially the way she framed it is just like, well, I try to look pretty for him, and now he's criticizing me. So now she's upset, she's hurt, and she is either really trying to change her feelings or she's giving him the silent treatment or both or whatever. He's picking up on that, and he's like, you know, what are your thoughts? What's going on? Now, if I were there, I would say, Mike, I think you know what's happening. So try to predict what's going on with your girlfriend right now. Really think about it. Don't act like you don't have any idea. Now, maybe you're wrong in your assumptions, but let's start from there. And because I've done this in sessions, it's a good exercise to do because there's two things that need to happen in this moment. One, Mike needs to apologize sincerely. He needs to say, I'm sorry for criticizing you. I'm sorry I hurt you. It came out weird. And you're beautiful, and I love the way you put on makeup, and I'm really sorry that I said that to you. It was awful of me. Okay, that's one thing that he needs to say. And then what we need to get from her is for her to say, honey, I know you didn't necessarily mean it this way, but what you said to me, it really hurt. I have a really hard time with criticism, and I put on this makeup for your benefit, honestly, and I want to be attractive to you. And for you to criticize me on my makeup, it just really hurt my feelings. I know you probably didn't mean it that way, but it really hurt. Okay, so if both people do that, then conversation over. It's resolved. They can move on with their day. So what I try to do as a couples therapist is I'm trying to get them to both do that. Now, if either one of them does it, then it'll usually get the ball rolling. If Mike says, honey, I'm really sorry, then she'll be like, oh, thanks for apologizing. Yeah, I'm a little sensitive to criticism. Or if she starts off and she says, honey, I know you didn't mean it this way, but it hurts. I have some traumas around criticism. And frankly, it kind of seems like you don't notice that I'm really always trying to look good for you. But you're a man and maybe you don't understand that side of life, but let me explain things to you. I know you didn't mean to hurt me, but it did hurt. And then he might go, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. So if either one of them leads with that, then it'll usually go well, and then they can put it behind them and they can move on with their day. So let's see what they do.
Are we playing the quiet game? Hello?
Okay, so now he's trying to coax her out behind the wall. Again, if I were there, I'd be like, Mike, I think you know what she's feeling, or at least you could take a guess. And so how about you lead the way by showing her that you care and that you're sorry or something along those lines. But this is what he's saying. He's like, hey, thoughts? What's going on with you? Oh, you're doing the silent thing to me again? Let's watch this. I'm guessing it's going to be a train wreck because they've never been able to navigate this, at least in the moment. They've been able to recover at times. There were things last season. There was this moment where the two of them really recovered, and I think it was even after she gave the ring back. And so maybe they'll eventually get to there. I hope so, for their sake, really.
Natalie's got this little on and off switch. She just goes into silent mode. One minute she loves me, one minute she doesn't love me, and it's just still trying to figure her out.
Okay, so that's interesting. From Mike's perspective, in this moment, a switch has gone off and she no longer loves me. I don't think that's what's happening. I think she's hurt, and I think she doesn't know how to communicate, or she doesn't trust to communicate. She doesn't trust to be vulnerable in that way because she worries she's going to be hurt again. But that's interesting that that's how he sees it, is when she's giving me the silent treatment, she no longer loves me. So that points to traumas in his life about abandonment or rejection or loss of a relationship, or someone giving a lot of messages to him that they don't love him anymore, that he's expendable. And when she is giving the silent treatment, it triggers that in him. That would make a lot of sense. And I'd want to ask him about that. And if that were true, then Natalie needs to know that, because she needs to know that when she gives a silent treatment, that his traumas are going to be triggered by that, which will cause him to put up walls.
I just don't understand her sometimes. And it's been an ongoing thing. So, these are just kind of real concerns for me,
So this is a very familiar scene from my neck of the woods. The way the grass looks, the way the trees look. Now, I know people laugh at me. They're just like, oh, I came here to watch a reaction to this reality show, and then this random guy on the internet's talking about his hometown. It's like a tourist show now. So I'll shut up about it.
Like this now.
Now, I'll tell you, I'm like Natalie when it comes to pine trees. I once moved into a house because it had a bunch of cedars in the backyard, and I would hug those trees. I hugged them when I moved in, and I said goodbye to those trees when I left. As a Pacific Northwest native, I love the weather and I love the trees, and I just love it here, and trees are wonderful.
I like hiking a lot. I think it's really healthy and normal. I'm very normal.
That's good.
Which I'm not sure about you, but
Not sure about me. We're still trying to figure you out.
Okay, so I think what she is saying by normal, she is saying, I'm no longer upset and I feel good. We don't need to talk. I went through a bad moment in the car and now I'm okay. I think that's what she's saying. And then she is asking by saying, but I don't know if you're normal. I think what she is meaning is, I don't know if you're okay. You seem a little distant to me. So this is really important for people to learn how to ask these kinds of questions of each other. And it's very important that they have protocols. And it's very weird, as I sell merch, and you can get it below. One of my favorite shirts to wear around the house is the shirt below that says, if being healthy is, if it's corny to be healthy, then be corny. I don't even remember what the saying is. It's something, there's a big corn stalk in the middle. Anyway, I love that shirt. So when you are worried about distance, it's important to know how to say it and just be like, hey, I'm not accusing you of anything. It's always, you notice I usually will start with that, because that's an important element, not only to tell the person, but also to remind yourself, okay, remember, don't accuse the other person of anything. Because if you come across accusational, the person gets defensive, and then you're off to the vicious cycle races. And so you say, I don't want to accuse you of anything, but you just seem a little distant right now. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. That's another element you want to throw in there, not only for their sake, but also to remind yourself, maybe it is just me. Maybe I'm just being sensitive. Because we really have no idea at any moment, particularly in emotional situations. Because he could be like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm just maybe a little quiet. I'm just taking in the scenery. But so I don't want to accuse you of anything, and maybe it's just me, because maybe I'm just making stuff up. Maybe I'm too sensitive or something. But you just seem a little distant right now, and that worries me. And I just love it when we are close. That's the other element you want to throw in there, is point out what you love and why you love it. If you're just like, you seem distant right now, okay, that's glass half empty way. If you say, I just love it when we're really close, well, that's a glass half full kind of a way. We're a little close, and I would love to be closer. That's the positive side of the statement. And it invites people in, it mitigates the triggers for defensiveness, and it gives people the opportunity to say, oh, well, yeah, I like being close with you too. You know, we're both on the same team here. And okay, yeah, maybe I'm being a little quiet and I should stop that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
You want to hug a tree?
I'm totally okay.
What's going on in Natalie's head?
I don't know. That's what I'm struggling to figure out too. We have to make some quick decisions here in the next 2 months. And it's like, we haven't put our full effort into us, I don't feel like, you know? And
Okay, so what does he mean by that? What I'm guessing he means by that is that he feels uneasy about the relationship, unsure, and he doesn't know what he doesn't know. What I see is that the two of them are very stilted in the way that they talk to each other. They're very rigid and closed, and they put up a lot of walls. And I don't think he knows that. And I think his interpretation is, I don't understand what's happening here, and I don't understand why we have a hard time connecting. I don't understand how I'm going to figure out whether or not we're compatible, and I'm just over here confused. So I don't think he knows that the walls that the two of them put up prevent them from actually even experimenting as to whether or not they're going to be good together, and particularly interferes with their ability to connect.
we need to really buckle down and continue to work on the remainder of our stuff and really show each other and, you know, that we want this and we need this and hope all goes well.
Okay, so that's interesting. We need to express to each other that we really want this. Okay, I'm guessing what he is really meaning is she has to express to me that she really wants this because I'm not sure if she really loves me or not. That's just a guess about what he's saying there. I don't know though.
I really do.
Not that he's saying he wants to control her, but I think he is scared that she doesn't actually love him, and he is, ever since she threw the ring back, he has been in a constant state of wondering, does she really love me? Does she in her heart really love me? Because before that, they had a lot of love and a lot of intention towards each other, and I think when that happened, that was very hard for him, which makes sense. And since then, they've put up their walls, and he's waiting for evidence of that old Natalie that was very much in love with him. And I think if he can find that, then I think that would make him more sure of moving forward. But until then, I think he will continue to see it this way. Now, a way to get there is to say, hey, honey, I feel like I'm not really, and again, I don't want to accuse you of anything, and maybe I'm just being sensitive, but I kind of feel like I'm not sure how you feel about me. In the beginning of the relationship, I felt like you really loved me, and I felt like there was a lot of energy towards me, and that you really enjoyed me, and you had a lot of, passion for me. And I haven't seen it since you gave me the wedding ring back. And I'm just wondering if it's in you or not, or is there a path to get there? What's going on here? I'm guessing that's the path to recovery for the two of them. I don't know, though. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.